same.
What's that?
The same.
The same old?
Yeah, I spent the last month dealing with the same things I've been telling you.
Yeah, I watched the videos.
Constantly talking to somebody, making it difficult for me to do whatever it is I'm trying to do. Like this morning, made it very difficult for me to sleep last night.
Are you hungry?
No, I shouldn't be. I should be okay.
Okay. So still struggling with...
Yes, somebody talking to me all the time.
Yeah.
Or people, groups of people. Yeah, all the time.
I watched the videos, the video of,
Okay.
with the Napa and then the one at Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And so I want to talk a little bit about the one with Napa.
Okay.
Can you, I guess I didn't really understand what the driver did.
Okay. I put a link up to that shows other, like the same incident, but with different driver that happened to me. So, if you go back to that link, there's that the one I sent you, and go to the bottom, the description. It kind of did you read the description? So when I posted that video, I left a description of the incident, and there was a driver behind me, and the driver was a Napa driver, and he pulled in. I was about to take a left turn, and the Napa driver took the left turn in front of me. So imagine you waiting in line to take your left turn, like the person in front of you, but the person behind you decides to take the left turn before you did.
So he was behind you.
Yeah.
You were turning left. He went around you.
The other way. So if the left turn is like this, the Napa driver was behind me. He decided to go to the left and then take the left turn in front of me. So I was here, he was there, and then instead of waiting and then turning like I did, he decided to go around me and make the left turn. So cut the angle.
Okay. All right.
Cut into incoming traffic and then continue to drive.
So my concern is you following him to his place.
Okay.
So the reason is I didn't see any. It looks like you didn't, at least in that video that I watched, it didn't look like you posted that conversation. I just saw the dash cam and then you recording him. You must have the dash cam and then a separate recorder.
Yeah, this thing.
Gotcha. My concern is the confrontation, right? So just because we don't know how other people are going to react to being confronted, number one.
Okay.
Number two, if you totally have the right to file complaints, especially if somebody's in a work vehicle.
Yeah.
But that can be done over the phone.
Okay.
My concern is the confrontations. It's
What
it's putting you at risk because you just don't know the kind of people that you are running into or following. If somebody was following me, I would be on high alert, high defense.
Yeah, this is an employee.
I understand that.
And I doubt that we live in Madison, Wisconsin, and I doubt that Napa drivers turn violent.
I see all kinds of things.
So I should be fearful. I should be fearful.
You should be cautious.
Cautious of a Napa driver turning violent because
I'd be very cautious about following people when you perceive or witness something that they have done specific to traffic, right? Like traffic infractions or illegal traffic maneuvers. It's not worth confronting them about.
Absolutely. I think it's a harassment. So the video I posted on YouTube also had links to other times that this has happened.
Sure.
So it's repetitive.
Right.
It's a repetitive behavior. So if you look at the description, there's a link that leads to more videos that will show you that this has happened more than once.
So your impression is that it's because it's repetitive, it's intentional.
Yes, and then when I drove here, block before I got here, there was a Napa driver following me, and
There's a Napa right down the street.
yeah, I know it's local. I'm sure they were prepared for somebody to explain that, but it's also unlikely that as I arrive here, there's going to be a Napa driver behind me for the last block or two. It's unlikely. That's it's like repetitive behavior because they know I'm going to come in here and talk to you, or you were probably going to talk to me about the Napa driver incident. But anyways.
Yeah, and again, it's just, you know, our job is to reduce risk, right?
And then I didn't approach the driver. So the driver was never approached by me. I never had the intentions of approaching the driver. I had the intention of speaking to the driver's boss. So the confrontation was not my intentions. To confront the driver as he arrived to the store was never my intention.
When he had stopped right when he was pulling in, right at the
There was-
driveway, I was like, oh my gosh.
There was a car. If you looked at the video, you can see that a car is pulling out of a spot, and that's why the Napa driver stopped at where he stopped. And then I pulled in. I waited a few minutes. I explained what I was going to do, and then I walked into the store. So I wasn't confrontational. My job isn't to confront. My job is to tell. So when I see something like this, I don't intend to be the rule decider. My job is to get information, get the license plate, get a picture of the person, and then to make sure I know who was driving, and then tell whoever's in charge of this person what they did.
For sure.
And so I went inside. I spoke to his boss twice. I spoke to his boss. It was a very nice conversation. Well, I felt like it was a decent conversation. The boss listened to me. He apologized. He said, I'm sorry that happened. I think I know what happened, and I apologized. I left. I came back. I showed him a video of where I was. He told me that his employee thought I was going straight, and that's why he cut around me. But that doesn't make any sense. That lane is not designed for people to go straight or turn left. It's designed for people to only turn left. And there's no room for anyone else to move around safely or reasonably move around the car in front of you. You would have to wait until that vehicle in front of you moved. That intersection is tight. There's one too many lanes on one side of the road. So I told his employer that. His employer was like, okay, all right, I'll talk to my employee. Okay. But no, there's no, I'm certain I don't know if that was.
Where I'm coming from.
I don't know what you're saying, but I think that's like a threat, kind of. It seems to me like a threat. That if you continue to.
It's a caution.
Cautions are threats. I mean, it's implied danger. Cautions imply danger. Threats are stating that there will be a danger.
What type of danger do you think that I'm implying?
Well, you just said cautious. Be cautious, and cautions imply danger. And there shouldn't be any danger to tell on someone. You shouldn't be afraid to report someone for something they did.
It's the confrontation part. Okay?
I didn't confront. You call it a confrontation. I call it telling. I never confronted the driver.
But based on the other videos I've seen, and like I said, that part of the video wasn't there, and so that's why I was asking about it.
Oh.
How that conversation went after you had exited.
Yeah, I didn't want to record the boss.
Okay.
So I didn't come into the store with a camera.
But I'm basing that off of the several other videos that I have viewed where there's been confrontations.
Oh, so you have watched the other videos?
I have. I haven't watched all of them, but I've watched several. Yeah. So.
And I usually talk to the person, and there's never been violence because I'm not the person that's going to cause the violence, and I should not be afraid to tell someone they did something wrong. That's not supposed to be a fear that anybody has. You shouldn't walk towards anyone that you're about to tell on and be afraid that they'll be violent.
Sure, exactly. People are unpredictable, right? You shouldn't have that fear, but the reality is that we never know how somebody's going to react.
And that's like a threat, right? Like if you keep telling in the future, something bad might happen to you.
You're just increasing the odds, right? I mean.
No, I'm not going to stop telling. So if you're trying to get me to stop telling on these people,
I never once suggested that. I want you to be just careful. Okay, just be careful. And the reason I say that is because I also watched the video with Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And the gentleman who was saying, do you want to fight, do you want to fight?
Yeah. That
is an example of, okay, at that point, you might want to disengage because you don't know.
It's gay harassment.
You're an adult, you're going to make these decisions yourself.
Yep.
But as somebody on supervision, anybody on supervision, we want to minimize the chances that you're going to get involved in something that might get you into trouble. Okay? Just for the simple fact of being on paper. Right?
He threatened me, so I felt it was important to tell him it's not.
Right, but it's also important to disengage if you come across something like that, because continuing to record, he escalated partly probably because you were recording.
Yeah, he rolled the man walked down the stairs and stared into my vehicle the whole time. So that's a threat in itself. The way, I don't know if you grow up in bad neighborhoods, but people or individuals that were in prison. I'm sorry, someone told me to just say prison. Talk about the prison inmates in my ear. If you know those people, the way they stare down at you is to threaten you or to stare. They'll wall pats. Bad neighborhoods, people will look at you the wrong way.
Intimidation.
It's I don't know if it's black culture, if you're aware of it, but I'm learning that's really gay culture. It's the way a man tries to intimidate another man they think is a woman or is not really a man. So it's like a stare down. And they do that over time. So from the time you're a little kid to the time you're an adult to scare you and to make you feel like you're less than a man or that I'm more of a man than you. And that's not what I was thinking at the time. What I was thinking at the time was that there was a man staring me down and using culture that is associated with black people to do that. But it's really, this man is gay. And I seen that in the videos afterwards. He was showing me that he was actually a gay dude and pretending to be, he dropped the facade, like the pretenses of a heterosexual dude and just showed that he was gay as he was talking, as he was walking, as he was standing, this dude was gay. So the stare down that looked like a man coming down the stairs was an example of what I just told you. Like a gay dude trying to...
About the other guy?
No, the same person. So the stare down coming down the stairs was an example of a guy pretending to use black culture to intimidate someone for different... now it's like, I think you're less than a man now. Or, I don't know, you can watch this video back and it should make sense to you. Or whoever's watching is going to make sense. There are things that people do to offend other people and physically, mentally, and that what he did was one of those things. So I'm not going to let somebody punk or scare me into thinking I'm a woman or make me feel like I'm less than a man. So I look back at this dude. I just looked right back at him while he was looking at me. And somebody the whole time was talking to me, telling me things I can't remember. But I believe that man knew I was coming to Wells Fargo. And that event was designed to cause an altercation, to aggravate and cause an altercation. And hopefully I did something bad because these people were doing things they weren't supposed to do. So that's what happened. So these things keep happening. That dude did that. He walked down the stairs, stared into my vehicle, rolled down the window, and then began to ask me, do I want to fight? And I doubt it was the camera. I sincerely doubt it was the camera that
He was yelling at you not to record him.
No, yes, but before that, I think the stare down, me looking back at him and not looking down or looking away, was what made him think that I wanted to fight him. Made him ask me if I wanted to fight. I guess the stare down didn't work. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to take it to the next level. The next level will be to fight this dude. If I can't scare him by staring him down, I'm going to scare him by threatening him, implying a threat. I want to fight you. Do you want to fight? Or I will fight you. And if that didn't work, a gun, like you said, it could be more dangerous. What's the next scary thing that could happen to somebody. They could be hurt in another way. The guy could have had a gun. And you know, like guys in cars like that, who walk like that, who stare at other people like that, who talk the way he talks, are prone or known to be violent. I mean, you don't have to be smart or go to prison to recognize people who use violence to get whatever they want, or in response to any interaction.
Right.
So this guy had that appearance. So I guess that's another implied threat. So, but I'm not gonna be afraid because it keeps happening, and there is somebody using technology throughout every minute of my life to torture me and terrorize me and tell me that they're gonna kill me if I don't have sex with gay people. And it's not just anybody. It's like celebrities. These are politicians. These are like people I grew up with. Strangers I've never met talking to me and telling me that these things are going to happen to you. And then I go to Wells Fargo and there is an event of like someone that is talking to me all the time at Wells Fargo. So to me, if you're going to torture and terrorize me with technology and threaten me all the time, you can just do it. I'm not going to be afraid to protect myself and to stand up for myself, because at the end I can be hurt at any moment of my life. And they're always telling me that we can do something to you at any time, and they're squeezing my chest and changing my voice. I'm not upset. I'm not sad. I'm not thinking sad thoughts. My voice shouldn't change to sad thoughts. Or to
like anxiety.
I don't have anxiety. I'm trying to. I don't have it. I'm positive. I know what it is. I know what that feeling is. It's like right before you do something, you're pretty anxious. And I've had that, but I don't have anxiety when I'm telling. I'm trying to tell a story and tell you what's happening to me and what happened at Wells Fargo. And I'm not anxious about it. I'm just trying to remember what happened so that I can tell it as well as I can. These people prepared to have that altercation, and the police officer arrived, and he pandered. So he had to have known that the dude he was talking to was gay. Had to be fondly aware that the dude he was speaking to was in the gay community. I was aware of it after a few seconds. It took me a few seconds to look at this guy and realize that he was actually gay. And I'm sure people who watch the video will realize that the dude was gay after a few seconds. Because they tell you in the way they move, the way they talk, the way they behave, the way they stand, and the way they look at you. And then the police officer was really nice to this dude. So I informed him that this man made threats, that I didn't come here and do the things he said. And if he heard the dispatch notes, which he had to have, police hear what the dispatch tells them before they arrive of what the problem is. And if the guy was telling the officer that I was stalking him, I was following him, my name is John Lattimore, and he knows who I am, there's a good chance he realizes this guy is probably lying. There's no way John Lattimore stalked you this morning. I sincerely doubt it. We don't have any calls of John Lattimore stalking people or following them all morning. We usually, that's not our problem. That's not his problem. He's been talking about gay community people harassing him. So if we get a phone call, it's probably going to be about him telling somebody he was being harassed or some other problem. But stalking and following is not going to be one of them. And then the guy talked about calling the FBI. He talked about people looking at him weird, saying weird things to him. He basically lied to dispatch to get police officers to arrive to the scene, and with the wrong ideas in their head. And from those wrong ideas, there's going to be a conflict because they arrive and the scene isn't like what they were told it was going to be. And the police officers could act inappropriately. But that's just like a play, right? So we're going to do all these things and hope that something bad happens in the end. So I think it was scripted. From the moment that man walked out of that Wells Fargo bank, or I arrived to it, I believe the act was scripted, and the police officer arrived and behaved accordingly, like he was told to, and without considering that there's a good chance this guy is lying. or a good chance that this guy has a mental health problem. Well, not a mental health problem. He's a liar. And everything he said was lies. And he didn't even give me a chance to explain myself. So I believe that the officer was going to allow the man to tell him those lies, write the lies down, and not give me a chance to explain myself, in hopes that there's another event in the future that I'd never explained myself, had a chance to explain myself, gave him the information that he would reasonably have to write down along with the report he got with the other person that was there. So those two things, without my statement, it can look like a trail of John Lattimore having problems with people in the community, and John Lattimore never had a chance to defend himself at all of those places. And then the man told me I shouldn't be there. So it's almost like he was trying to cover up the lies. The officer. The officer told me to leave, that nobody wanted me to be there. Which is, what'd you say?
You said you had an appointment.
That was after, he didn't know. When he arrived, he told me to leave before he knew I had an appointment. So, which is not appropriate. You should tell the person to wait. And we're going to talk to you when we finish talking to this person. Unless he knew he was trying to protect the person, or allow the person to tell his side of the story and only his side of the story and not hear from me. Either one. I think it was both. I think he did both. He tried to protect the person who told the lies about John Lattimore, because John Lattimore didn't do those things. And if a police officer arrives and investigates and finds out John didn't do those things, like follow you this morning, try to talk to you at all, initiate conversation with you, you now look like a liar. And I think that's a crime. Calling police and lying to them is probably a crime, or on purpose. And I think the police officer tried to protect this person, allow him to lie, protect this person at the same time, and get me to leave without confronting the officer about the lies that were told, and trying to turned attention to the person who called the police officers. So the officer made sure to protect the guy who called the lies, told the lies, and prevent me from turning his attention back to the person who called the police to report the lies that he did. So I think that's why he told me to leave right away. He didn't want me to ask questions. Didn't want me to say anything. And this keeps happening. So these implied threats, someone's telling me to talk about the threats you mentioned, or the cautious behavior I should have. I can't. These people are constantly threatening me, constantly telling me that.
Do they threaten you if you don't tell? So are they saying
yes.
If you don't tell,
no.
you don't,
No, they're telling me to allow them to convince me, to force me to have sex with gay people. That's what they're saying. That's their logic. It's a messed up. I don't know if you've heard of gay men, how they manipulate people, or not manipulate, but say things to get people to have sex with gay people. Throughout my life, I've heard different things every once in a while about gay men telling people things, or straight guys things to get them to have sex with them. Throughout my entire life, I've heard it. I know many other people have as well. I know that those are the things they keep telling me. So I'm constantly being told those things. So I know that the threats is not to get me to stop. They're trying to get me to stop telling, but they're not threatening me to tell. They're not telling me, if you don't tell, we're gonna hurt you. That's not what they don't say that.
They don't want you to tell.
Yeah, they do not want me to tell on these people. They're trying their best to make it difficult for me to tell at all times. So when I think about telling, it's not for minutes later. So it's in the moment. It's like my brain's not working. Someone is electrocuting the part of your brain that you use to immediately think and make a decision, and they're stopping me from making immediate decisions in that moment. And it's like 10 seconds later, they allow me to think about the things that I want to do about whatever just happened. It could be walking outside, or going for a walk, and I see something happen. They stop my brain from thinking, and then like 10 seconds later, these people who built this technology will allow me to think about decisions they came up with. choices. They think you could do this, this, or this, and you should choose one of those three things to do. So I don't know what portion of your brain you use to make decisions or to think about the things you want to do in a second they happen. But these people learned how to electrocute that portion of your brain and stop you from thinking about things at that moment. So you're like, it was always after the fact, like seconds after the fact. So if I'm trying to focus on what to do, I can't. I literally cannot for like seconds after whatever happened. So somebody is watching things as they occur, like a tiny camera is inside your body that can see everything that you do, and another one that can hear everything that you hear. So as things unfold, these people are watching it happen and shutting down portions of my brain as these things occur. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, they use this technology as I live every day or second day of my life, and and uh, and they tell me to not tell. So when I have an opportunity to tell, mm-hmm. they shut my brain down for like 10 seconds or more, mm-hmm. and then give me the tell me to tell whenever they choose to tell me to tell. So okay. It's like these people don't want me to tell, and they're doing their best to keep me from telling, but someone is pushing them to give me the option to tell minutes later or mm-hmm. seconds later. Okay. So I know it's confusing, but if you watch this again, you're going to understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There is someone using technology to stop me from telling mm-hmm. and trying to get me to have sex with gay people at the same time, mm-hmm. and using that technology plus interactions with people in the community who may or may not have the same technology in their bodies to cause an incident, something to happen that would get me in trouble. Sure. Or because they believe if I don't want to be gay, I shouldn't be in the community. Mm-hmm. If I don't want to have sex with gay people, how can you survive in the community wherever you go? Mm-hmm. There's going to be somebody who is gay that wants to have sex with you. And they firmly believe that everybody would be happy if they were willing to have sex with gay people.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
I think we kind of touched on it before.
Yes.
Your previous agents have talked to you about a referral for mental health.
Liars aren't people with mental health. So at the worst, you're standing in front of a person who's lying to you.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's no possible way that a liar has a mental health problem unless he's telling you things that can't logically happen. So, like flying animals. If I came in here and I constantly told you I was seeing flying animals everywhere I went, and you were certain I was telling you the truth, or like I firmly believe that is a person with a mental health problem, potentially, that's a person with a mental health problem that logically can't happen, and this person firmly believes it, and maybe there's no possible way the brain is going to see a flying animal unless there's a flying animal. So, or he's a liar. He could be a liar. But my point is, I'm telling you the truth. Well, at worst, I'm just lying to you, because all the things I'm saying to you are things that a person could do to somebody else. Things that people can do to other people. People do bad things all the time. Mm-hmm. And somebody did a very, very bad thing mm-hmm. a long time ago to me. Okay. And that's and many other kids. Sure. And they all have their own stories. Sure. And very few are heard mm-hmm. until they get on the news. And some people just live with it. Right. Like, there's no one to tell.
So I want to
okay, mental health.
Yeah. I want to focus on this. And okay. The reason for that is, I think that I had asked you some questions previously when we first met, but I don't think I got a clear answer. Have you ever received mental health treatment in the past?
You guys offered it. Okay. I did it. I talked to the woman. I still have her report that she made after the...
Was that SOT? Was that sex offender treatment?
No, okay. That wasn't sex offender treatment. It was a mental health some psychologist.
Like a DOC psychologist?
I believe so. Okay. I met with her for like a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months. And mm-hmm. we constantly talked about people walking past me and mm-hmm. telling me to be gay. So I'd walk down the street. There was somebody when didn't have any money and I was like working really hard to make my rent. Mm-hmm. There were people who were strangers I never seen before who would see me on the street, walk past me, and say, "Be gay," or whisper the word "gay" as they walk past.
I remember you told me about
And
that.
I believe during that period of my life, for like a year or 2 years, however long it took me to get a car, that these people were trying to get me to have an altercation. I learned this later. So I learned after I watched the news and I seen people punching people on YouTube that they just walked past.
Mm-hmm.
I think I realize now that that's what they wanted me to do. Like, so you make an example of a behavior that people have. And so you're thinking about it. You give them the thoughts of what to do on YouTube or in a movie somewhere, right? And you make an example of this situation and this behavior goes with that situation. And I believe somebody wanted me to think about that behavior in a similar situation.
Okay.
So if somebody walks past you and says "gay," and it keeps happening to you, and you call the police, nothing, no, they don't do anything. You give them a description of the person, and they also don't do anything. After you give them the description of the person that walked past you and told you "gay," "be gay," "you're gay," "you're still gay," all these things to you.
Sure.
It's like you're feeling like doing something bad to those people. So it's like I learned later that it's an opportunity for altercation. So you punch this person because you're so angry that they keep walking past you and telling you to be gay or you're gay, and it seems like somebody tells you later it's a mental health problem, but the truth is they were protecting the people who were walking past you and telling you to be gay, you're gay, and allowing them to not. So the punch you made was not excusable. It's not reasonable that you could be that somebody that you punch somebody for any reason, and let alone them walking past you and telling you to be gay. So that's what I talked to that woman about the most.
I'm just now seeing the notes.
Okay. So
hold on one quick second.
Okay.
Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
She says that you're a very likable person, is what she said.
Oh, nice.
She talked to you a little bit about psychiatric care.
Yeah, she wanted me to take some drugs. I was against it. Drugs didn't. It's technology. Mm-hmm. So
hold on, I know, and we talked a little bit about that before.
Yep.
Have you ever been on medications?
Yes.
Okay. What were you on?
I took Adderall.
Okay. Were you like diagnosed with like ADHD or something?
Yeah, as a child, but it's technology. So the entire time I was taking Adderall, it was technology. Mm-hmm. So there are ways to electrocute portions of your brain that allow you to focus, and to electrocute portions of your brains that require that you used for activity to not focus. So when you're a kid and you don't know that there's technology inside your body, and someone is trying to create the image of a person using technology a person with ADHD, they can just electrocute the part of your brain that you use to focus. I don't know where it is, but I'm sure a doctor would know what I'm talking about. So if you electrocute that portion of the brain, they stop focusing, and you electrocute another portion of the brain where they start using activities or wanting to do things. You can present the idea of a kid with ADHD, or when they're trying to learn or read, you can electrocute the portion of the brain where they use to focus, make them or dream, and then electrocute the other portion where they dream, the part of their brain where they dream. So they start daydreaming while they're reading, and they don't know it. They can't feel it at the time. And I learned this now, recently, in the last few years, that it's possible because I started feeling they let me feel what they were doing to me. So while I was reading or doing anything, they can literally electrocute, and I can feel it. And then they explain what they're doing to me. So that's how I'm able to explain that to you.
Sure.
They're actually telling me what they're doing to me as they're doing it. And they told me that they've been doing it the whole time. So I never needed the medication. I needed someone to take technology out of my body. And they gave me the medication because that's the only way.
When you were younger, right?
Yes, that was the only way that they could, these individuals in the gay community could give me the appearance of a person who was in a gay person's experience or unattractive appearance. So like people who take Adderall, don't want to eat food. So you give the kid that you don't want to be that attractive, or you don't want to have a full face and be very take pictures that are very attractive, girls who would be very attractive to people with full faces. You give them Adderall as a child, and as they grow up, their face is going to change, and so it's a it's a it's like someone's very intelligent way to make someone look the way they want them to look as they get older. So it took someone's thoughtful idea to hurt somebody that they don't want to have sex with women or be attractive or have social favors, you know.
So this is what I want to do going forward.
Yep.
We're not going to have this discussion today.
Okay.
Because I am still in the process of reviewing your records.
Okay.
But I do want to revisit treatment. Okay. Even if it's connecting you with somebody to talk through some of this stuff, because it sounds like you don't have a lot of supports. It sounds like what you're experiencing, what you're going through, what's happening to you is impacting all areas of your life. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, you told me yourself, you know, it's like torture, right?
It is.
And so when we meet next month, I want to talk a little bit more about what your options are. Okay.
I called the police. I need a police officer. I said it on YouTube. I need a doctor. I mean, a surgeon and a police officer at the same time, or whoever has the authority, whoever allowed this to happen, to be the one to unallow it or to take it back.
Yeah.
So
and I think that a good place to start is, you know, let's see what's available out there. Okay.
Yeah, if it's not a police officer or a surgeon, and if you don't set me up with a surgeon who can, or a doctor who knows what I'm talking about and can elaborate on everything I just said to you or to somebody else, there's no need to meet with that person because they're the only ones who are going to understand what I'm saying.
Right. So that is going to be separate than what we're going to talk about with therapy. Okay?
Then I don't want to go. I don't.
The reason for that, again, is because you have this going on. Until that gets resolved, until we figure out how to fix that, we need to look at how we can support you and how you can kind of strengthen some of the coping skills that you have right now, because you're dealing with it.
You're dealing
with it, and you know, it would be irresponsible of me as an agent to not start making steps toward exploring all options. Okay?
They did it a while ago. They did it a few years ago. So my last agents did exactly what you're doing right now. And it was, they sent me to that psychologist, Vic Gonzalez. So I told them bad things were happening to me, and they sent me to Gonzalez. And I kept telling her.
She's not a long-term therapist. Right. She only does an assessment to determine like what the needs are, and she makes recommendations. It sounds like she made recommendations, but those were not, they hadn't been followed through on.
They did. I think she told me to go see another doctor, or like to go see a community therapist. And I went to go see a community therapist for like a few weeks. So I used my personal insurance to go, the state government insurance.
Medicaid.
Whichever it was, whichever it's called, to go see the community therapist for weeks, like she said. So I did that. They were basically telling me that they could not help. This is a problem that they could not help with. And they didn't really want to hear the things that I was telling them. So I think these are really bad things. And the truth is, if the person who allowed this to happen ever comes back and says this was a bad idea, I should not have done this to anybody, all these individuals are going to look like in a bad light. So
do you have, I'm sorry to interrupt, do you have a primary care doctor that you see on a regular basis?
No, I don't. I don't go to the doctors that often. I hardly go see a doctor. I have only when I need to.
Is that something that you're interested in? Is getting connected with a regular doctor that you can go to who can get to know you and kind of, because you got to start there. You can't just go in and be
No,
like, hey, I need brain surgery. You know what I mean?
No, I did do that. I swear I did exactly what you're saying right now, years ago. And when people were just walking past me and just saying gay and continuing to walk, like it was acceptable social behavior to just walk past somebody and say gay or you're gay and continuing to walk. uh, I told, and then they sent me to these doctors. Yeah, no, I told my parole agents, I told Gonzalez, I told the community therapist these things, and it didn't. They told me there's nothing they could do about it. Essentially, each person told me that there was nothing that they could do about the things that were happening, and it's honestly community harassment. I know it's like I'm talking to these people in my car. I told them it's the same as you going to high school and being bullied by the kids in your high school. These kids grew up and they didn't stop being bullies. They just grew up and got more money and still were bullies to the people in their community. So that's what is happening to me. These people continue to bully people as they got older. And it's community harassment, and everyone's avoiding the idea of addressing the huge issue with people in the community harassing individuals in the community. So group harassment. And I'm doing my best to tell. And I'm also telling that they took it even further and they put technology in babies. So they prepared for these bad things to happen to these people their entire lives. And I'm trying my best to tell. And they're doing their best to stop me from telling. And you like messing with my voice, making it harder for me to speak, telling me words in my head, keeping me from my memory, blocking me out of my memory. I don't know. Technology is electrocuting a part of my brain that you go to grab your memories. So I'm speaking off your questions as much as I can. And
this is all very helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for sharing all of that with me, because I know that we didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, if you can help me in any way, talk to a doctor, like a doctor who knows human bodies and is willing to explain to you what he's saying is how these things could happen. And then him talking to a police officer and saying what he's saying is how these things could happen.
Okay.
And that's the only future direction I would like to move in.
Okay.
So yeah, if you know any doctors in the DOC,
I will. We don't have any doctors in the DOC.
Yeah.
You actually met with the top dog back in 2019.
Oh.
She's super. She was the regional psychological services supervisor. She was the top one. We don't have any doctors per se outside of the institutions, but we do some digging.
Yeah.
Can we schedule a next appointment?
Yes.
And another Tuesday?
Sure.
Actually, I take that back? Could we do maybe a Thursday?
Sure.
The 27th?
Yeah.
How's your, is work is still good? I see that nothing's changed.
Yep, no, I'm still working there. Yep.
Dog kennel?
Yes.
Dogtopia? And then the same time work for you, or do you want to do a different time?
What day?
Can we schedule that later?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll maybe do it in May.
Okay.
Okay, so back for the home visit in April. April 27th works for you?
So a home visit in April?
Nope, it'll be an office visit, and then we'll schedule a home visit maybe for May. That Thursday, April 27th, and then I can do any time up until like 1.
That whatever.
11 again?
Sure.
Is that a good time for you?
Yep.
All right. There you go. I always appreciate you being on time, because not everybody is on time.
Perfect.
So. Well, stay safe.
Yep.
Thank you.
So this is the appointment visit for next week. And if you guys didn't believe me before, like I told you, everywhere I go, there are police officers that arrive to that location as I get there. Before I get there.
Get out of the way, Earl.
It's those church shoes.
Just come on through. Come on. All right.
So I just told again, I'm gonna post this on YouTube really soon. I think it's harassment. No, I know it's harassment. Anytime you always see police officers everywhere you go. This might be more harassment. I always thought fighter jets were pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to post this on YouTube and then continue to tell everywhere I go. I think I did a good job. I think I did a good job telling today. Scarlett Johansson was telling me the entire time not to turn the video camera on yourself. She kept saying, "Don't turn the camera on yourself. You're very unattractive." And she's telling me that you're ugly all the time. She always tells me in my ears all the time that I'm very ugly. And she thinks it's okay because Hollywood likes people who look like attractive white people. So she's a very angry woman. Well, she hates my appearance. So she keeps telling me don't turn the camera on myself, but I just did anyways. I think I wanted to tell. They're telling me what to say. Got like prompts, cutting down my memory, stopping me from using my memory, and then giving me prompts. So they just reminded me that I was talking about telling. They are whoever invented this technology. Or maybe it's a person. There's one person giving me prompts and shutting down my memory. Who knows? But like I was saying, I firmly believe that I got to tell. And my parole agent is trying to get me to stop telling her these things. And there's no one else to tell. And that's what she's thinking about. You need to tell this to a therapist and not me. But she's my parole agent. No matter what, she's asking me questions about what's going on in my life, and I'm supposed to tell her. At the end of the day, she is supposed to know or that there are bad things happening to this person. And that's her job. There are bad things happening to this person, and her job is to know what those bad things are. When I get off probation, the only people I'm going to be able to tell are people on YouTube when there is a reason to tell. And someone just told me in my ear that if she's mad about you recording her, remind these people that you're telling that the reason you recorded your parole agents to begin with was because they were pandering to the gay community. They were trying to help people in the gay community. When you reported that gay people were hurting you, your parole agents did their best to protect the people you told on, instead of addressing that these people are actually doing bad things to you. So I'm doing my best to tell. I'm doing my very best to tell on these people, and this Taylor Swift is gay. Taylor Swift is a gay woman, and she's also talking to me in my ear. She's gay, and she's incredibly racist. And she's just uses sexual harassment, gay sexual harassment, like the worst kind of gay sexual harassment she can think of, to use to electrocute my left ear and literally squeeze and say things at the same time. So electrocute my ear and make noises at the same time of a person who was in the gay community. So I'm trying my best to tell on this woman and these people, And if anyone out YouTube you're watching and you see these videos somewhere else, um, you should do as much as you can to help us, anyone who's trying to get help, not help a doctor and the person who put this technology in our bodies out of our bodies. If you can put those people together, that would be great. And I know they're probably making me spit right now. They're probably making me spit. I apologize. I'm sorry. They when they do that, they just told me that it's in the gay community, it means you're really angry. That all that saliva means you're really, really angry. I'm not angry. I am telling. I'm not mad. I'm telling. So, they're telling me to stop recording, and that I have nothing else to say. But I'm sure I have. So, they're telling me to say that you actually do have a lot to say, and I think I do. If I could remember the things that I would want to tell you guys, I'd tell you guys. And Taylor Swift just told me in my ear, "You're gay," like in a deep man voice, like a deep gay man voice. She just said that in my left ear. You're gay. And that's what these people believe, that because you were a victim of pedophilia as a child, you are gay. And if you weren't a victim of pedophilia as a child, you would still be gay because your family is gay. Your parents are gay. 5 years ago when I got out of prison, someone just reminded me to tell you guys that 5 years ago when I got out of prison, I made a phone call to my family members. I called my dad, and as he looked, it was a voice video, face-to-face video phone call, and it was right out of prison. And he looked at me in my face and he said, "Gay." And then or gay, like that. He said it verbally. He said it, and he didn't mouth it. He said it. And then I called my sister a little bit later, and she did the same thing. It was a video phone call, and she said, "Gay," voiced it and mouthed it directly at me. My family members are gay. So these people who invented this technology believe that if your family is gay, you are also gay. So it wouldn't matter if somebody hurt you as a kid or not. You would still be gay. And they invented the technology to make sure that their kids continue to have sex with gay people, so that gay people would not would have children who would also be gay. And I'm trying to get this technology taken out of my body. And I believe these police officers, they're telling me in my ear right now and trying to change my opinion about these officers over to the right, that I'm supposed to, I can use a police officer to kill. They just said use a police officer to get yourself killed. A police officer will kill you. You have to do very little to get a police officer to kill you. They also said that these officers are here to keep you safe, make sure nothing bad happens to you. I don't believe them. What do you say? At any time, they could actually pull up at any moment and take this technology out of your body, and it'd be all over. I don't believe them. I think it's just harassment, and they have no intentions of ever taking this technology out of any. It's so bad. Putting technology in children is so bad that I doubt they'd ever take it out. So I'm just going to keep telling, and maybe somebody who knows what I'm talking about will be the one to do what these people should have done, or should have prevented from ever happening. Remove technology from the bodies of individuals who don't want it, who don't want the technology in their bodies. What else? I think that's it. I can't remember anything else. Like I said, I'm doing my best to tell. I'm going to do my best to tell. And I'm pretty sure the woman who was my parole agent was using gay community threats, threats, um, stay safe out there. It's a threat. It's like, why wouldn't I be safe? Is it because I'm telling? They murdered you because you don't like the technology in your body that they put in your body. That's a pretty messed up reason to be killed. That's a pretty foul reason to be killed by somebody. They put technology in your body, you don't like it, and they killed you because you didn't like it. And you were telling. That's pretty messed up. I'm gonna keep telling. And I think the woman is trying her best to use personal information. Someone just reminded me to mention that your parole agent was trying to add your personal information on YouTube because you are putting her personal information on YouTube, like her recording her. So she feels like if you do that, I'm going to ask you personal questions that you would in the end have to put on you will probably put on YouTube. So I think it's important to tell you guys. I also think it's very valuable. I think it's very valuable to tell you guys these things. I think it's very valuable to tell you guys these things. Just left. I think it's very valuable to tell you guys these things, but the ADHD thing is created. It's technology. You can create a person who has ADHD with technology. And I know that's out. You guys are thinking, how? Or you're probably crawling, well, considering what I'm saying, and you're thinking, could it be true? Right? Or I always would ask, after all that thought, how is it possible that he is able to imagine that technology can cause ADHD? If anybody was reasonable or didn't have the experiences of technology inside their bodies, would not think about technology as an issue that could have been the issue for ADHD, right? You can't associate technology with ADHD and any by far stretches of the imagination unless you have a similar experience, some experience connecting those two things together. Most people would just say, yeah, I did, and I took medication for it and nothing came of it. But the truth is, you had someone use technology in your body to create the ADHD behavior, and then they give you drugs that would affect your body, the appearance, your physical appearance. But they're telling me to say that technology can also. Someone in my ear just told me that you mentioned before technology can affect your appearance. That is true. The drugs can help. Well, the drugs cover up the fact that your appearance is changing, right? You can't just feed someone a bunch of food and then make them look the way I look. You can't make somebody cheeks sink. You can't without a reason for that to occur, right? You're feeding this person and the cheeks are sinking. It wouldn't, because of the technology. Someone's using technology to reduce the flow of blood in this person's face, and you can't excuse that, right? How are you going to explain that to somebody? This person's well fed, and someone at the same time their cheeks are sinking, so that they have the appearance of a hungry person, emaciated, starving, emaciated, unattractive appearance. And it's hard to explain to people. So you give them drugs. You explain that they're taking drugs, and that's why they look the way they look. The drugs are starving them. Adderall starves individuals. And whether you knew it or not, when you were a kid, you were actually helping these people years later for the time period moving forward, for a time moving forward in your future, to keep you or make you remain unattractive to lots of people, and to allow people to call you ugly, because everyone knows that people who are
no cheeks are hard to take pictures for. It's really hard to take a picture of that person. It's easy for someone to call them unattractive. And it's very hard for girls to be attracted to people who don't have the fat cheeks that they're used to looking at. So somebody did this to me, and they thought about it years in advance. Everything that's happening to me. And I'm doing my best to tell on those people. Because they're telling me what they did now. They're talking to me in my ears and telling me exactly what they did. So I'm telling you.